So, okay, apparently we're online with audio and an indicator to let us know there's audio. It's funny how I have to criticize computers emotionally and point out their predilections and pathologies, and then all of a sudden the computer starts working. Right, that makes a lot of sense. So, let's see.
For you and understand. ABC News, Washington. This year, choose naughty or nice at the Drive at Home holiday event.
Ils ont eu des symptômes aussi. Nous, on croyait que c'était des réactions au vaccin. Mais ensuite, un des entraîneurs de mon fils a dit qu'il était positif. Donc, voilà, on a suivi avec les tests. Et les résultats étaient positifs. Et moi, j'étais à Ottawa. Je répétais un show. Au CNA. Qui allait se dérouler le 11 décembre. Et par contre, ça n'a pas pu être parce que moi, du coup, j'ai testé positif. Et suite à ça, 2 jours plus tard, ma mère, et suite à ça, mon frère, etc., ainsi de suite. Et voilà, on a tous été atteints. Et heureusement, il n'y a pas eu de conséquences.
What's the matter? Was he mad? You switch windows to try to...
Oui, voilà, pour certains, parmi nous, de grippe. Ou pour d'autres de rhume. Pour mes fils, c'était vraiment fièvre et maux de tête. Ça, c'était le plus pénible pour moi parce que un enfant, il a 3 ans. Donc, c'était juste 2 nuits un peu pénibles avec un petit de 3 ans qui dit qu'il a des mal de tête puis des vomissements, de la fièvre. Mais après ça, c'était vraiment des symptômes de grippe et où pour mes parents. Oui, maintenant.
Online learning options.
So that would have been a union ad, I guarantee. So we have, oh, I didn't name the video yet. Okay, we have...
It's the Christmas Waltz, and it is in 3, and that is Rob McConnell in the small group there.
So you think we're on the internet doing shit like this today because we give a fuck about Christmas? Really? Really?
Before that, Diane Reeves giving us a little Stevie Nicks, a little Fleet.
Oh, that's good.
He will retain his role as head coach.
That is not...
Elle a passé, elle a été malade en même temps que nous, sauf que je ne savais pas. On s'est rendu compte après le fait. Puis voilà, c'est vraiment en solidarité avec elle. J'ai pas même pensé que quelqu'un de Radio Cannes aurait s'y intéresserait même ou personne dans le public. Mais surtout, je suis d'accord avec tout ce qu'elle a dit. Voilà, moi pour moi personnellement, les vaccins ont largement contribué au fait que mes parents sont aujourd'hui en bon état. Donc, pour moi, c'est simple. C'est même pas important pour moi, c'est d'évidence. On devrait se vacciner. Enfin, c'est ce que je crois pour ce qui est. Ce qui est de mon opinion, c'est le mien. Voilà. Mais en solidarité avec la poète, j'ai voulu partager l'histoire.
Et vous l'avez donc fait, vous avez parlé de ce qui est arrivé. J'ai envie, tant qu'à voir Patricia Cano.
So, how about, yes, we got shitloads of grapes. We have been collecting grapes like you would not believe. I'm going to press play and light that, and it's upside down, but entitle the video. Here we go.
No fear, I got a ride from my other side, and they got 40 of them hit. Damn. Son, I gotta reload it like a gun. Time them just for fun. They wanna see me with my hands out begging for funds. They ain't gonna see that shit cause I really make runs. They saying that they gotta get the job done. And when my crew come, they ain't gonna say no more in the slum.
Oh yeah, you can hear all sorts of sirens and shit.
From head to toe, they ain't gonna breathe no more. Ain't gonna see no tree. Ain't no more paradise down here. It's only hell or up. You won't get a chance no more down here. I ain't showing no fear. I gotta ride for by the side, and they gotta ride for me, cause they gotta say that they'll die for me. They gotta shine for me. If I shine on my own, then fuck, they won't lie for me. They won't lie for me. They won't die for me. I'm in this, big haters ain't gonna shy with me. They ain't shining with me because I put them all in the past. I told all these haters cut them off and all to kiss my ass. Haters don't love it, I ball just like Nash, saying that they wanna ball, throwing bins in the trash. I'ma hit it up like fuck it, haters. I gotta see it later, like fucking adding up my stacks with the calculator, saying that they wanna brave something just like braver. I'ma be braver than you, probably be the first heartbreaker. I never broken hearts before, but I just might.
Somebody said the video quality seemed to improve. We're not sure what's going on.
Remix this shit like a bitch, gotta read this.
It seems like our internet is not what we're paying for, but whatever.
Can you tell at this point I be ballin'? All these people be calling, cause I be ballin'. I be ballin', we can be ballin'. Can you tell I be ballin'? How did you not know? How I'm looking to try. I be ballin', I be ballin', I be ballin', I be ballin'. You wanna be me, yeah, but you don't understand me. Oh no, 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 can't you go be someone else? Why can't you go and be yourself? Give me that grace, give me that space. I'm the one and only king, ring a ding ding, yeah, I'll be your next thing. Can you tell at this point I be ballin'? All these people be calling, cause I be ballin'. I be ballin', we can be ballin'. Can you tell I be ballin'? How did you not know? How I'm looking to try.
Finish my coffee, damn it.
I be ballin', I be ballin', I be ballin'. Yeah, I'ma be amazing. Yeah, it'll be so damn amazing. I will get everything. Oh, 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 I'ma stay up on my lane. Oh, 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 I'ma put up on my ring. Oh, 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 I'ma sit up on my throne. Game of Thrones, I feel my own crown. Now I'm ballin', I'm ballin', now I'm ballin', now I'm ballin', yeah.
We just shuffled it.
Bucket up this head and I be smoke. I love it when you take it to the head and never choke. And you ain't never asked about the bread just cause you know. If I got it in my pocket, we gon' blow it, ain't no option, girl. Bucket up this head and then we smoke. I love it when you take it to the head and never choke. And you ain't never asked about the bread just cause you know. If I got it
Down wires.
blow it, ain't no options, girl. Got it in my pocket, blow it, ain't no options. Plenty options when we shopping. Fuck the price, you know we copping. Fuck them niggas, all the flocking. They just hating cause I got you. They can see the love is real. Plus they know I kill about you. Bust it open, get it poppin', get it wet, then you drop it. Know I'm all about my business, so I'm making big deposits. Don't
Shot you out, whoever you are. We're trying to kill about 6 minutes. See if we can catch anything useful at the top of the hour on the news.
Don't get close. Niggas just talk. You don't wanna see me squeeze at the show or your mom where you sleep. Take your bitch OT for a couple weeks. That's 100 bands for me. And that's more guns and coke for my team. I'll never leave mine lonely. And day one niggas with them till we RIP. I'll never leave them lonely. And niggas just talk. You don't wanna see me squeeze at your show or your mom where you sleep. And take your bitch OT for a couple weeks. And that's 100 bands for me. And that's more guns and coke for my team. I'll never leave mine lonely. And day one niggas with them till we RIP. I'll never leave them lonely. Lonely.
I was never with the funny shit. I got some strippers and fiends. How you think I'm getting money, bitch? I was gone, I had to do a bid. I could have been back sooner, but I never was the type to snitch. My young niggas got the loaded clip, and they ain't thinking twice. Send me squeeze, hit it, who you rolling with? We roll weed just to cope with stress. We dress in black and kick a door if a nigga try to disrespect. But fuck threats be coming at your neck. They always running, so the Rugers that we got coming infrareds. You ain't gonna make it home to bed. My shooters shoot, stretch you out and leave you sleeping in a box instead. I count stacks, red, green, and brown. Bitches never benefit me, all they ever did was slow me down. Talking about she wanna hold me down. I was broke a year ago, why you showing me attention now? OTF, man, that's all I got. I bond tighter than a knot, nothing's coming in between my dogs. We all made down bottom hot. So catch me up top with the killers by the parking lot. Yo, I swear my mom's strongest rock. Sorry that I kept grinding when every day you told me stop. But see, I had to go and get the squawk. We gon' see better days once my niggas make it to the top. I run around the south side with the Glock 9, creeping in the night time and let me see who's outside. I never seen your face when it's crunch time, and you never owned a strap, but in pictures still have gun signs. It don't get close, yeah, it's our time. These other niggas wasting money in the booth, spitting dumb lines. It's Marksman, yeah, we all shine. It's on site, we'll shoot shots and leave his body on the road.
See you at the crossroads. It's a double M.
It's on now, you made a murder on life. All the fakes perpetrating, living lies in your life. All the busted ass kids in the trap claiming skill. Pull the body gun and we'll make sure you die for the bill. It's on now, you made a murder on life. All the fakes perpetrating, living lies in your life. All the busted ass kids in the trap claiming skill. Pull the body guns, we'll make sure you die for the bill.
I run at you like a maniac with a pencil on the trigger finger. Because kill you.
My name up on your mom's headboard with the stencil.
He's about to attack. They tell me to relax. Just stop and take a breath. But the only way I'll get better is by witnessing your death. You can't stop me, motherfucker. I'm getting to you. Ain't got no armor on my chest enough to get through your crew. Strictly hand me on.
News time 3:56. Now the business report. Here's Sharice Smealy. Dye & Durham, the Canadian software company, says UK regulators are now taking a closer look at its acquisition of the TM Group. The purchase costing almost $157 million. The deal closed back in July. The British Competition and Markets Authority has referred the acquisition for an in-depth Phase 2 merger investigation. Now, Dye & Durham has been busy with acquisitions of late, including a $3.2 billion purchase of Link Administration Holdings of Australia. That addition was announced earlier this week. Shares in the software company are down almost 13% this year.
What's all that mean?
With the stock down 0.4% today at $43.83. Bay Street saw a half session today, and markets will reopen on Wednesday. The TSX closed up by 10 points to 21,229, higher for a fourth day, and the Canadian dollar is down 4/100ths to 78.06 cents US. Spider-Man No Way Home is on track to become the highest grossing film of 2021. And get this, it could also become the first and only film released this year to pass $1 billion at the global box office. And that hasn't been done by any movie in almost 2 years.
Lie. The People's Republic of China has released quite a few movies over the past several years that have done quite well.
This makes it the third highest.
Even movies made for the North American or European market released in China, the 1.5 or 1.6 billion people to go check out that movie. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about.
Record 47.25, up by 0.6%. Gold was up $9 to $18.11, and oil closed up $1.03 to $73.79 a barrel. I'm Cherie Smealy. Business continues at 26 and 56 past the hour or anytime at citynews.ca.
A toast to Boxing Week at Appliance Canada.
And to being a terrific host for the holidays.
Appliance Canada has gone low with their pricing on wine cellars and cabinets from brands like Wine Cellar.
Wine Cellars.
How low did they go? See in store for additional savings and Boxing Week offers.
Like a great...
Wow. What did we learn there? What did we learn?
In my brain, but the anger that I'm feeling is causing me pain. I'm coming for you, and there is nowhere to run. And when we meet face to face, you know it won't be no fun. Your end is coming near. Can't you feel it's close? Even if I die before you, used to be harassed by my ghost. I'll get you any way I can, whether you wake or asleep. Just wanna see you die before I'm fucking dead in the street.
It's on now. You made a murder of life. All you fakes perpetrating, living lies in your life. All the ass kids in the trap, clean the skin. The body gunning will make sure you
His name is right there.
It's on now. You made a murder of life. All you fakes perpetrating, living lies in your life. All the ass kids in the trap, clean the skin. The body gunning will make sure you die for the bills.
I don't snatch chains like Oprah throat. I don't steal trailers, I steal boats. I don't write tracks, I put one note. Construct some deep and shit and call it a poem. Raw, dirty, filthy, call me wrong. With the silencer pointed at your dome. I'll bring you the last call home. One of the slickest last until the bits.
Certainly making it feel cooler at -4. It's 4 o'clock. Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather.
There's no way I'm missing it every time. That's not right.
Everywhere. It's Friday, December the 24th.
Oh, this is
I'm
good.
Zach Bodenstein. Here's what's making
This
news
is good.
right
Mess
now.
with the fucking clock.
Omicron
You're
continues
hilarious.
to
You're
show
such a
case
good
counts at
hacker.
levels we haven't yet seen as Ontario confirms over 9,500 new infections.
Families are getting together to celebrate Christmas, but Mayor Tory says we're still in a pandemic, so you should socialize responsibly. He says his own holiday gatherings will be limited.
The U.S. is lifting its travel bans on 8 southern African countries.
The IIHF
You mean South Africa is a country? The Republic of South Africa is a country? Oh,
Bitcoin reaches its highest level in 2 weeks, and
it's not an
airlines are
investment.
canceling hundreds of flights. Business at 26.
City News Time 4:01. Now traffic and weather together.
so there's down.
Local News Radio.
There's never been this much COVID in Ontario.
There's never been this
The
much
test
COVID.
positivity rate jumps over 2% from yesterday to now 18.7%. The number of people hospitalized with COVID is up by 68 to 508. The ICU number is lower than yesterday at 164. Bogosh
Well, I mean,
says
a bunch
while
of people
those
died.
numbers remain stable, we need to keep an eye on them.
Even if you have a small percentage of people that get sick and need hospitalization, a small percentage of that massive number of people still ends up being a lot of people. So you got to be careful with our healthcare.
You've described it wrong again, Mr. I know better because I'm white, because you know. They're in there a lot longer. They're in there a lot longer. Oh, it still sort of adds up to a lot. No, they're in there longer.
Not really. I'm going to see my family in Quebec at this moment tomorrow. Everybody is vaccinated. We're going to have the rapid test just before we leave to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah, because you have to by law, stupid. We're going to do it just to be safe. We already have it. You're required to do it as you step on the fucking train or plane or bus.
I'm safe.
Moron.
My other friends are going to be safe too.
Nothing has changed for me. I always stay safe. I listen to the medical advice and I stay safe.
Those experts are telling us
No one else will stay safe on your behalf.
It used to be considered something of a sport for years. People waiting until the very last second to get their gifts for friends and family. On Christmas Eve in years past, places like the Eaton Center would be packed. Global Sean O'Shea
Because you all keep screaming, oh, this is the only mall in Canada, and everybody has to go there to see the displays at the Bay, which is a different store.
Where we're situated, it would normally be packed, jam-packed today. We'd normally be inside the Eaton Center
Right in
on
my
a Daylight
shoe.
City reporting, but we're not doing that today. And a lot of people have, frankly, just stayed away. They knew about the numbers. They saw the projections ahead of time. They've done their shopping online, or they've just not come out. That's the reality this year.
It's not because people don't celebrate this holiday for the last 20 years. Since 1996?
stores.
Sales have been dropping
Limits are
at Christmas
down.
time
Shopping malls
since
down to
96,
50%
25
maximum
years.
capacity. We know
It's because of COVID this past 2 years. And the previous 8 years was because of immigrants, because they're evil.
To see Jesus Christ Superstar at Princess of Wales Theatre over the next few days. You won't be happy to hear this. Mervish Productions says that there have been COVID infections among some of the staff backstage. So they made the decision to cancel the remaining shows from today.
As opposed to the people on stage or anybody else, right? It's only the backstage people, the ones that don't count as humans.
But that production is hopeful to resume shows.
Or union members or any other goddamn thing,
As
right?
they have been for the last 66 years, NORAD, North America's air defense system, is tracking Santa's global journey as he makes his way around the world. For those worried about Santa's safety with COVID, don't worry, he'll be wearing a mask and gloves when he drops off his toys and goodies. NORAD reminds us that he's been doing it.
As opposed to a scarf or a balaclava. We have to normalize this weird shit and forget all the normal stuff we do. Really. Canada, where everybody covers their face in the winter. Where are these protesters coming from about masks? Because immigrants wear masks. So we're going to make it illegal to wear masks. That's who these anti-mask protesters are. 3 years ago, they were anti-Islam protesters. Okay? We don't want them people wearing them turbans, and you understand that that's a completely inaccurate stereotype. They cover their faces and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to beat this woman into not covering her face because I think that's what's right, and where she came from is wrong. Bad people come from that. This is the rhetoric in Canada. Oh, it's COVID. COVID got people buying their gifts early or just not buying gifts at all. For 25 years. Remember, up until 4 years ago, there was no Black Friday such of a thing in Canada. It didn't exist. So what happened was people were ordering things or going to the U.S. to go shopping. So the stores up here started countering with their own sales. Right, and some of them are called Black Friday and some aren't. Some of them are called Red Thursday. Really. Really. So if you're wondering, people like me don't have pigment in our skin. That is blood you see under our skin. So if you're using the skin tone correction or whatever, you're a racist piece of crap.
640 Toronto.
Just so happy. And Merry Christmas for those out back in the...
Which comes at a time when many have had to cancel plans with family and friends as cases of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 surge. 2021 was another year.
You see, so it must have been the cause. It'll both happen at the same time. It must have been the cause.
Together. True says there's reason to be hopeful heading into 2022.
It wasn't because of the projections 4 weeks ago. If the numbers are telling us today about yesterday, it's the reason why you did something the day before.
No limit to what we can achieve
really
when we pull together.
Or
He encourages Canadians to get their vaccines, wear a mask, and keep their distance this holiday.
My friends, brighter days are ahead, and we'll reach them.
You're going to get home invaded again, pussy.
Canadian Press, Ottawa.
Sydney News Time 406 to the
No, it's not your home, is it? It's the Governor General's house. And that's the only reason? That's the only reason it doesn't happen. You see my rhetoric? Are you following along?
The governor says that she's cutting health worker quarantine from 10 days to 5.
We waited for this.
They're already exempt. They're already exempt. They're exempt.
Variant, and now this is the predominant variant. Different circumstances. Again, we're always trying to adapt.
Military and health and essential workers are all exempt. This is why truck drivers are allowed to cross the border. No other reason. They're exempt.
Which she says is a way to prevent.
Oh, they have to get a test and this and that. Well, not really, because they're exempt.
Now lifting travel restrictions to 8
If you did it, it's because you voluntarily did it. And if it involved your nose, that's not the real test. The real test is spitting in a cup.
After South African health officials first identified it there. The move barred nearly all non-U.S. citizens who had recently been in South Africa or in nearby countries.
No. Unless you got a valid PCR test, then you can go to a second country and then come. Yes.
Necessary time to study Omicron and conclude that current vaccinations are effective in blunting its impact.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
On New Year's Eve.
Because it's vaccinated people getting sick. If you don't have 4 shots, you're considered unvaccinated.
3 major airlines were forced to cancel.
You're unconscious when you get to the hospital. Unvaccinated. Remember, they still tell me I'm white. Sickle cell, First Nation status. status. No white people in my background. No one's ever qualified for white status in this country.
In the U.S., Delta and United Airlines say
Why does it say
they
white?
had to cancel dozens of Christmas Eve flights because of staff shortages, which are tied to Omicron. Bad weather, though, also an issue in parts of the U.S. Now, countries, including Spain and the UK, have reduced the length of quarantines to ease staffing shortages by letting people return to work sooner after testing positive or being exposed to the virus. The Delta CEO has asked the U.S. to do the same. At the Business Center, I'm Chris Custer.
This is City News. The International Ice Hockey Federation is being criticized for canceling the women's under-18 tournament. Our Caroline Frolic has the details.
The International Ice Hockey Federation has some explaining to do after canceling all January events.
Some explaining to do. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Make a reference to a show nobody under 40 is going to remember. I'm 38. I've only seen a few episodes.
Continue again per usual. The IIHF
where women get threatened with being hit and kicked and shit every fucking time they turn around. You got some explaining to do, as well as all the fucking stereotypes culturally. Aside from the misogyny and violence against women, all the other stereotypes, such as not being able to pronounce words in English.
I'm Caroline Frolic.
Oh, not the understanding that someone who's learning English will mispronounce some words sometimes. The stereotype that they all sound like this. Explaining. You got explaining to do. There's no S in that word. There's no way of spelling that word with an apostrophe.
But they'll probably find it's a pretty toxic drug and it doesn't really work very well and it's quite expensive. So I think it's going to be one of those drugs that even if it is approved, and it may not get approved by Health Canada, I'm inclined to think it may. Even if it were approved, I don't think it's going to get widely used. For example, it's not given. Well, for example, in the clinical trials, it was not given to women of pregnancy age. In addition, men who could potentially
pregnancy age
were prevented from
because they don't ask you if you've been through menopause. That's nosy. Oh, how old are you? Oh, if you're black past 40, you're not going to live longer. You count.
Are so concerning.
Well, they're at the cellular level and concerned about potential cancers.
6 cell.
Okay, well, there you go. And there is a hesitancy. I mean, we've seen it with the vaccines where people are concerned that there haven't been enough trials, not enough long-term data.
That's not hesitancy. That's being concerned there's not enough trials. Because there weren't.
They're not the only one. This is a Merck product, as I understand. But there are other pharma companies. I think Pfizer's also coming out with a home treatment. So these companies, these big pharma companies are competing to get like the at-home version of the cure for the cold into people's hands. Are there any other products that are coming to market that actually do work?
You see how she said that? Completely going over her head that cold is a layman's term for coronavirus.
Ontario has now backed that. So Ontario will be recommending.
Put on my Costco hat.
It's very cheap and
that would involve standing up.
Intervention. So that's
still like wearing a hat.
I do believe that the Pfizer drug probably is very good. I don't think it's going to be 90% effective.
Excess testosterone.
That's just not the way that things translate from clinical trials into the real world. But I have every reason to believe that the Pfizer data is much more compelling than what's been presented by Merck.
The logo is tilted to the left, so when I tilt it to the, if I tilt it to the right, twist it to the left.
So I think there are drugs coming. But of course, we're at a very heightened period of stress at the moment. And so people want to see that there is wise decisions being made by our government. And in this circumstance, I think it was a terrible decision.
Yeah, we've had a few misses during this thing, and some can be forgiven, others cannot.
No, none of them can be forgiven because you knew beforehand. All this, we didn't know because you didn't know. Well, if we knew because your station told us, then you're lying. You knew and we knew.
Very variants then get affected by this.
Orthodox Jewish.
So Suboxone is available already because it was already on the shelves of pharmacies, and now the Ontario Medical Association has, or the Ontario Guidelines Committee,
let's put the other one on top.
Recommended treatment. I think Pfizer is saying that they'll have theirs by end of January, and Merck are claiming the same thing. They both need to get Health Canada approval, which I'm sure will be, relatively speedy process. There's a funny thing that in Canada, we don't have a mechanism for generic drugs to be repurposed for conditions.
Well, because you can use them off-label.
To get attention. But we're grateful that the Ontario Guideline Committee did take it up.
And just while I got you on
your doctor can prescribe it for off-label use already, so there is no approving it for a second use. That's not a necessary thing. Doesn't make sense.
We're starting to see some positive signs.
Years sticking up.
It's very early to say. I work very closely with South Africa, and the wave is really diminishing in South Africa at the moment. So I'm hoping that we'll see the same thing here. It seems to be relatively mild in people who are vaccinated. No one familiar with vaccines ever thought that this vaccine would prevent you from getting infected, but it prevents you from getting very sick from it. So it's called
he's telling the truth.
Sterilizing immunity. And what we hope is that,
it's called
enough
what?
people can be vaccinated so that we don't see crowding in the hospitals. At the moment, though, there's a lot of hesitancy.
Because if you see that, society will collapse. You see how the doctors are working on this from a university level understanding, academic. You guys aren't getting it.
Certainly in Ontario.
I'm vaccinated, so I can spit in your face because you're a nigger. No, you can't, because gangsta shit didn't stop just because you got a cold, pussy.
How many vaccines
fix your face.
We watch countries like Israel go to their 4th shot. So I think one of the
this is a real mask. That polyester shit is a fashion mask. Read the box. Non-woven, no plies. Since it's not woven, it doesn't have plies. It has layers. One layer. This is one piece. Injection molded with pinholes in it.
In terms of how we
You have to touch your ears every time. You keep doing this. Why you keep doing this? I see COs touching the post and rubbing their lips over and over.
A lot of thanks to people like yourselves who are doing the studies and
all these niggas claim to be straight. All over, I see this all over the fucking place.
Thank you very much. And
why are you rubbing your lips every time you touch something another dude touched after rubbing his lips?
Monopiravir, yeah.
Yeah, see, it rolls off your tongue.
Remdesivir.
All right, and we'll see what happens in the new year with this. But I appreciate
Remdesivir. Thank you for fixing our internet service, Remdesivir.
And a Merry Christmas to you and your family, and all the best to your team in the new year. That is Ed Mells, who is out at McMaster University, and lead on one of the biggest COVID-19 treatment studies that they have on the go. So, look, the at-home treatments seem like they're in development. Not so sure we're getting worth with this latest one, as it sounds.
Home treatments are in development. Hey, home treatments came before hospital treatments and doctor's office treatments and clinical trial treatments.
Working around the clock for the last couple of years. He's been trying to get documents unsealed at the courts into what happened in the investigation into Honey and Barry Sherman. Some of those documents have now started to be allowed for release, because the judge has allowed that. And he's starting to glean some interesting information, including information that this couple may have been stalked for weeks leading up to the murder. So we're going to talk to Kevin Donovan on the other side of this break, who's got new details on that. But let us get you where you need to go. And for that, we turn things over to our Global News Chopper Traffic with Richard Martin.
So remember, I believe we caught at one of these recordings, this station and the other one, playing the police official press release soundbite. Oh, it was 2 operatives from Russia, and we know exactly who they are, and there's nothing we can do about it. Have a nice day. Thanks for tuning in to Toronto Police Service Channel. That's what they told us. I have no idea what the true stories are anymore, because they changed them. A year later, they'll come on with a different story. A week later, they said, no, it was a murder-suicide. Why'd you just tell us that even when you initially released that murder-suicide theory, a week later, you're telling us, no, it was actually 2 Russian guys that did it. That was our initial thought on the subject. Oh, bombard us with bad data. Bombard us with bad data. It's okay. I'll save my joint for later. You getting mad that I waited this long? I'm going to fill this jar up eventually. I mean, you can't see them too well, but you can see there's something there. There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's about as good a shot as you're going to get. Bombard us with bad data. It's okay, because we don't care, because we know exactly who you are, like individuals and families and home addresses. We know who you are. We don't care. when you do that, you just prove that you're there without us saying nothing.
Silver could protect your financial future. Crombie says her symptoms are mild. She's self-isolating at home. Stay with us for the very latest on this story. And if you've got to head out this weekend, we've got you covered with what's open and closed.
If you have got to.
Will be operating on a holiday schedule throughout the weekend.
Yeah, we know.
Will be closed in the city on Christmas Day, except for the Pacific Mall, and they'll all be open again on Boxing Day with reduced hours. Most major grocery stores are closed.
They'll all be open.
And all LCBO and beer stores are closed as well. Banks will be closed for the weekend.
That's okay, because you could be 17 and deliver alcohol by Uber or even younger, and there's no, you don't need a smart serve.
The Toronto Zoo and most public skating.
I have the smart serve, by the way, so when you try snapping off about what the law says, I can take away your car keys. There's no fucking around with it.
And the provincial health officer is asking residents not to get tested unless they have symptoms. Dr. Bonnie Henry says
if you don't have symptoms, we're going to pretend you don't have it.
And giving take-home antigen tests to
the people with symptoms are the ones that don't need to get tested. They know they're sick with something, and they're spreading droplets, even if they weren't sick with fucking COVID. They're going to make somebody sick with something. That's the logical answer.
And it is more highly infectious than any of the other strains of this virus that we've seen.
And she says the province is asking anyone with symptoms to adjust their holiday plans and self-isolate. This is City News. At least 39 people are dead, 70 injured after a fire swept through a crowded river ferry in Bangladesh.
Injured passengers being brought ashore after the massive waves forced many to leap into the river's cold waters to escape the flames. The ferry was carrying 800 passengers from Bangladesh's capital, Dhaka, on a 150-mile trip southward when the fire broke out around 3 a.m. As daylight came, the ferry's blackened hull sat anchored at the river's edge as rescue teams searched for both survivors and the bodies of the dead. A fire officer says the blaze may have started in the engine room. The government has set up 2 committees to investigate.
May have started with what? It may have started in the engine room. Maybe.
I'm Ben Thomas.
City News Time 420. Boxing Day is on now at Visions Electronics with incredible savings up to...
I heard it too.
Same TV, only better. A football membership required.
It was Christmas in prison, and the food was real good. We had turkey and pistols carved out of wood. Then I dream of her always, even when I don't dream. Her name's on my tongue, and her blood's in my strength.
The fuck is this? This is bad. This is really bad. This is. I think we're gonna tune away, Alex.
All right, great to have you here on this Christmas Eve show. So here we are 4 years into the Honey and Barry Sherman murder investigation. And we started to see some movement in the last couple of weeks. Whether or not that leads to an arrest, it's obviously too soon to say. But we got the revelation a couple of weeks back that
it's obviously too soon to say. It's always too soon to say until they get arrested, stupid. Jesus Christ.
Back in 2017, December
13th. I don't give a fuck about you arresting the murderer. It's the people that paid them $5 billion.
And interestingly, we learned that a Toronto judge repeatedly denied a request to track by cellular telephone transmission the whereabouts at the time of the murders of 35 individuals who were considered people of interest. Kevin Donovan is the Toronto Star's chief investigative reporter. He joins us now. Good to have you, Kevin.
We can't pick this up any clearer.
This is just sheer will on your part because you keep digging and digging and digging, and this information comes to you because the Toronto Star, which I don't think a lot of people understand, have been launching a series of court challenges to try to get documents released so that we can have an actual transparency to this case. And so you guys fight this, and they're starting to release chunks of those documents, and you're starting to glean, I think, what is some pretty interesting information.
Yes, I started. I'm not a lawyer, but I did these legal challenges myself.
Read the French,
We had
it's
some
light.
success about a year ago with information from the first 2 months of the investigation being released.
Say good
and
stuff.
what we've had in the last week are a series of search warrant production order documents that detail the entire first year of the investigation. And so in the story I published just the other day, you'll see that the police had a strong suspicion that some people were monitoring the whereabouts of the Shermans month, maybe even 2 months prior to their murders. And
If you go anywhere and it's private when you got $5 billion, really?
To try and figure out who those people might be, and that's because they do not appear to be providing enough evidence.
Pfizer, Merck, Moderna, who else is there?
35 people's cell phones who are people of interest to them. And so I don't know if they eventually get that permission. I think I'll find out in the next week. But it's tough. And I mean, I don't fault the judge. I just fault the police for not providing the evidence that is required to breach the privacy of 35 people who might be completely innocent.
Right, but it is relevant. I mean, this is one of those investigations that has been shrouded in secrecy since day one. And if not for your pushing on this, and I mean, for people who
this guy's supposed to be investigative. Now he's concerned about them trying to find out. Wow.
Not the easiest thing to do. It takes a lot of time, a lot of patience to get these kinds of documents, but nonetheless, you are in fact getting them. But this information is really relevant, and hopefully it'll be in the next tranche of documents you get as to the tracking of cell phones, because if it goes to that time period, then we might get a better indication, or we would have get an indication of who that person is of interest that they had shown to the media a couple of weeks back, no?
Yeah, well, now the person that the police showed to the media, which was a complete surprise to me, I didn't know about that individual, is this unknown person. I think it's a man, but the police won't say if it's a male or female, walking in the area of the Sherman home and appears to have spent some time perhaps at the Sherman home, or at least on their property, during the time that the murders took place on the Wednesday, December the 13th, 2017. And so now what police are trying to find out is, was there anybody trying to communicate with that person, this unknown person, assuming the person had a cell phone, from some other part of the city? As in, I'm just making a bit of a leap here, the person with the odd walking gait is a lookout or a hitman, and there's somebody else controlling that person by a cell phone. The problem with this is that if somebody is a hitman bent on doing a terrible deed, I think they're probably not going to be using their cell phone, and the people around them will be using the cell phone too. They'll be using a burner phone. And what's interesting, I've had some people in the telecommunication world contact me and say,
which is a cell phone.
Police are looking for specific cell phone signatures in the area. Why aren't they just looking for any cell phone signature in that area? And I think that's because the police don't have enough evidence to do that. But apparently you can draw a electronic box around an area and find out what phones are in that area. That's what people have told me the police should be doing.
That's what some people kind of told me. Hey, do you remember the articles you wrote about Jane Kreba, you fucking homo? The fuck is wrong with you?
That cell phones have become, in a court case or a police investigation has really kind of turned a corner in the last couple of years. It is a major kind of forensic footprint of a criminal, and some of them are wising up in the last few years to not use a cell phone.
She said that. You guys shouldn't be using.
It's going to take one.
They're not using cell phones. They're using this burner phone thing.
Wide open, and so it'll be.
They're still pretending in Canada that the EncroChat hacks never happened. 3 years in, they're still pretending in Canada, where the Royal Canadian Navy processes all the intelligence for the Five Eyes, Australia, New Zealand, UK, United States, Canada.
The police have been sitting on that for a few years, and I think a lot of people are questioning, like, why would they sit on that kind of information for so long?
Exactly, and I would question that too. And it wasn't just a couple of years, Alex. It was going back to almost the first month or 2 months of the investigation. They collected video. They saw this person.
So it says 12, but I'm pretty sure the whole 15.
Who knew this person? So they did a canvas of the area showing the still images from the video to people, and nobody saw the person. And I've walked that route that the police believe the person took, and it is very unusual for somebody that late at night to be walking a couple of kilometers towards the Sherman home.
It's unusual because we make sure niggers don't walk that way.
I would just think that.
How do you think these rich people get their cocaine delivered? Do you think the guy drives up in a Benz with a license plate and an iPhone running?
After time, and it's been 4 years now.
Yeah, and so is
all these high-end neighborhoods surrounded by shitty slums.
Do you know about the case? Do you believe that's kind of a little bit of a
All
red
of them.
herring? Because there has to be pressure mounting on the Toronto police, who had been criticized at the time for making a lot of mistakes in the beginning.
Mistakes?
I have to think they're under a lot of pressure to yield something.
I think there is a lot of pressure. Then the police would say we're just doing this methodically. But I think the thing that I found most
He thinks the police will give us such and such an
doing
excuse.
this massive investigation, they interviewed 250 people who might have knowledge of the Sherman's whereabouts, family members, friends, business associates of Barry's. They do all that in the first couple of months, and they don't do any more interviews. But then what happens at the end of 2018, which is the period I've gotten to in these documents, they get some new information, and they get it from a person that has spoken to them before. And I don't know what that information is. It's heavily redacted, but they get this big chunk of information, and I think they are going. We're going to see that they move in a different direction, and I don't know what that direction is, but I'm looking forward to finding out.
Yeah, no kidding. It's just kind of like it's a mystery murder that you just kind of keep peeling back the layers on. The other little tidbits of information you managed to get out were of the last phone calls placed. I mean, the last messaging that came out of Barry Sherman was on the night, I think it was 8:23. That night. Was the last message he sent, and then it goes dark. But the other information is that he had been restrained at the wrist, and there was ample evidence put out by the coroner that there was a rather tight restraint put on his wrist as well as Honey's, even though the police had been searching for ties and other things that they couldn't figure out, I guess, how the couple had been killed. And again, it goes back to like all the mistakes that were said to have been made in the beginning of this case. Like, how did they miss a restraint on the wrist?
I think the first pathologist and the police detectives initially on the case did miss that. I know that they were interviewing, Barry and Honey both had these personal trainers, friends of theirs who did some training with them, and I know that they asked one of the trainers who had seen Barry the morning he died, did he use any bands on his wrists? And so that was a tell to me that there was something on his wrist. And as it turns out from this document that's just being unsealed, there was quite a strong tie of some sort, probably quite thin, on his wrist. And that, when you think of it, this is two people who were a big part of our community, and what they must have gone through. But the suggestion from all of these documents I've seen, all my investigations, is that Honey arrives home, she's killed, and then Barry arrives home, and he's restrained, and you would only restrain somebody if they were alive for some time, and that just conjures up horrible images that anyone really feels for people close to Barry and Honey.
What a nightmare. Boy, oh boy. Well, I know that you're waiting for more documents. When do you expect those?
Sometime in the next month, I would say.
Boy, oh boy. Good work. Tremendous work that you keep on this, because I think if not for your reporting, we probably could know even less on this case. So good on you, Kevin. Wishing you the very merriest of Christmas, and we'll look forward to what you have in the year.
The same to you and your listeners. Thank you.
And that is Kevin Donovan, who's the chief investigative reporter for the Toronto Star. He is so single-handedly running, I think, what is the investigation. And without his reporting, I don't think we would know any of what we know at this point. So stay tuned, because there'll be more to come out. When we come back on the other side of the break, we will throw this over to you if you're celebrating your Festivus this year. So what grievances do you have to air?
And the westbound QEW is still slow in Mississauga from the 427 to west of Cawthra.
Oh, we got the half hour.
Hold on. But looks good now through Burlington. Eastbound on the QEW Gardner, just a delay as you approach Cawthra to Dixie. 1 in 5 Canadians struggle with their mental health. TMS stimulates the brain to help lift that heavy cloud of sadness without medication. To find out if it's right for you, visit tmsofcanada.com. Now with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahide.
The other 4 out of 5, everybody else struggles with their mental health, right?
This year we got a couple centimeters. It's probably going to melt tonight with rising temperatures.
This year we got a couple centimeters of snow, hey, this year.
Throughout the afternoon, and we will dry out after the lunch hour. We'll change that rain back to some drizzle, and then again dry out late in the day. Overnight tonight, those temperatures
shiny it is when it's wet.
2 to 3 degrees. It is currently 2 degrees at Pearson.
City News Time, 4:33. We have breaking news from Mississauga, where Mayor Bonnie Crombie has tested positive for COVID-19. In a statement posted to Twitter, the Mississauga
The Hazel McCallion got hit by a truck and walked her way to the office that day. Didn't go to the hospital till the next. I'm exaggerating, but she did get hit and run by an F-150. That's not a joke. That happened. I don't know who did that, but you are not cool.
COVID cases today. That is a new record, topping yesterday's by about 4,000. There are 6 more COVID-related deaths, and test positivity is
topping yesterday's by 4,000.
More tests.
We have 7,500 cases.
But even as that count accelerates, the number of people needing to be admitted to the ICU is holding steady. According to Health Minister Christine Elliott, there are currently 164 ICU
But that's not the problem. The length of time they're in the hospital is the problem. We've known that for 18, but we all knew that before. Us, us are
very sick, not to show up to their emergency departments and risk exposing the very people who we need to fight this surge. Mitch Burke, City News.
Ontario recording over 9,000 cases of COVID-19 just a day after Quebec did the same. In his Christmas message, Premier François Legault is warning of tough weeks ahead and is asking people to be vigilant as they gather for the holidays. He says the next few weeks will be difficult and Quebecers will need to stick together to get through the latest wave. Quebec's health department says it is not releasing daily COVID-19 case numbers until next week. In BC, public health
because Catholicism reigns supreme in our nation, where the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms doesn't apply. Hey, I got news for you. It's not your land. You don't get to have your own nation if you play that game. We'll just take it back from you. Are you fucking stupid?
Dr. Bonnie Henry says testing needs to be
je ne pense pas que, I don't give a fuck what you thought, bro. Si je crois, je sais qu'est-ce qu'il passait, okay? It's not going to fucking be fun for your ass.
New York State is cutting the time healthcare workers need to quarantine if they test positive for COVID. Governor Kathy Hochul made the announcement this afternoon.
I'm issuing new guidance on returning to work for our critical workforce after they've tested positive, and employers may allow healthcare workers and other critical workforce members.
I really wish we had more interaction right now. This is big shit.
Fully vaccinated?
Fully vaccinated? You know, vaccinated.
Changed its COVID-19 isolation rules for hospital workers this week, making it so staff exposed to someone with COVID-19 need not stay home if they continue to test negative daily.
That's what it was like before. You quarantine till you test negative twice, and then you come back to work. There's no change. Why do you keep presenting everything as a change?
Last year, Meritori says his Christmas celebrations were like many of yours, with just him and his wife.
Really? Because you told us you weren't going to have one. Do you remember telling us that? Oh, shit, you did. Yeah, stupid.
Significantly improved, so family gatherings are welcome, but there's still need for caution.
We don't have to be, I don't think, back to that, but I think we also
shouldn't be throwing the door that and all that. When they say that with the accent on the A, this way actually, you're talking about dark things, black things, red skin things. They don't like it.
But I think in our case, practicality will simply determine that the whole family isn't there because they weren't scheduled to be, and that'll make it easier for us to sort of follow this careful socializing approach.
The rise of the Omicron variant counts for public health measures allow for gatherings.
You're still calling meeting people in person socializing. No, we call it work. We do socializing on the phone. It's not socializing that you're doing. I have to snot on your eye because I care about you niggers.
We helped our neighbors. We
so sick of these white guys.
We stayed home, skipped celebrations.
No,
and
you
wore
didn't.
masks to keep each other safe.
No, you
Our
didn't.
kids missed sleepovers and birthday parties.
You're a fucking liar. Everybody remembers what you did last year, stupid.
The Prime Minister turns 50 tomorrow. He's urging Canadians to continue being safe and smart in order to finish the fight against COVID-19. After trying to
bad I
contain the
can't
spread
blame
of
dropping
Omicron,
that
the
seed
US
on
is planning
that.
to lift
That's
travel
funny.
restrictions on 8 South African countries. The variant was first detected in South Africa.
No, he was like 32 2 years ago when he became Prime Minister. Now he's 50. That's what happens in Canada.
Nearly all non-U.S. citizens who had recently been to Southern Africa. And the White House announced on Friday it plans to lift restrictions on New Year's Eve.
Say if South Africa's a country, why do they keep calling it Southern Africa? That conversation's happening here.
And they say the ban bought scientists time to study the variant and conclude that the current vaccinations are effective in blunting its impact.
Well, that's funny because South Africa warned you that they're not.
South of the border, including among those who are
We were able to determine those niggers were just lying, so it's their fault we were racist.
Canada and the UK have lifted similar restrictions as well. Michelle Morton, City News.
Not really, sort of.
City
Sort
News
of.
time 4:38. Now, City News.
Where's the gas price?
Year in review.
Brought to you by the Chesterfield Shop.
This is Irene Trucklet with a look back at October 13th.
If you know, I have a thing about advertising, 50s advertising, radio, AM. The Chesterfield Shop. I love it. I love it.
Unbelievable, better than expected.
I have to paraphrase something from that I don't know what it's from.
Trip. The 90-year-old brought to tears explaining his experience to the rocket's owner, Amazon's Jeff Bezos.
What you've given me.
What I'd like to do? Oh, yes, I don't know. On the money front, I'd like the government to maybe account for money. You know, one of the big things that
you obviously wouldn't because you've denied racistly you've denied nonstop that the government of Canada is stealing from our trust accounts and that's where money comes from. You keep spouting this bullshit about your income taxes while you work for the government.
2 years. 2 years we've not had any budget. So we don't have a true accounting.
That's okay. For 2 years, federal employees didn't get paid. For 2 fucking straight years.
$600 billion not accounted for. $600 billion not accounted for. Now, it may be accountable, but we just don't know.
We've got over 2,000 trillion unaccounted for. You won't fucking say anything about, no, that's not what I'm spending. Yes, it is.
They can't account for the money that they lost. Like the last time.
Lost.
I checked, like any other government not being able to account for that kind of dollar amount, heads would explode. And I'm not sure.
Yeah, could the Liberals get a pass? Because I don't like the Liberals, so we know what would really happen. Right, because that's happened, right? Moron.
And so I think that
your Supreme Leader, Harper, handed $40 million to the Japanese, apologizing for something that didn't happen, taking the money from trust accounts belonging to other people, and denying that any Indian children had ever died in the custody of the church or the government of Canada.
This is something that takes leadership. Shouldn't be hard leadership. It's a racist bill.
And you backed him on that. I'm very proud. I'm very proud he's apologizing to those damn dirty Japs because it's not really their fault. It's their parents' fault that they're Japs.
Blatantly wrong. So at the federal leader, I'd like to see some leadership.
This woman is one of the most racist, hateful people in the world.
Leaders, including Jagmeet Singh, the guy who would be very much affected by Bill 21. He wouldn't be able to work for the government in the province of Quebec, and he's not even taking a stand either. So
he's not a provincial MP in Quebec, stupid. He's a federal MP.
Take a stand on, and they have not because they're pandering for votes
in BC,
Montreal, in Quebec. We all know that if
his type couldn't work in Quebec. Yes, he could. He just wouldn't be allowed to wear religious symbols.
You know, and they're not.
But how do you present it? Oh, he's a dirty half-breed sand nigger. He can't work.
They need to deal with. But yeah, those are some of the grievances I have. Loretta, do you have a list?
He wouldn't be able to work in Quebec because he's a federal MP, and provincial laws do not apply to him. At least not these ones.
Like, I get the significance of it, but at the same time,
significance of it.
That's my
significance
grievance of the year for the past 2 years.
The past year.
Yeah,
Or 2
we
years.
got to do a better job on that, of reporting. Not so many case numbers. Let's get to the actual matters of ICU. But yeah, I think
Not so much the case numbers.
Category of one entire grievance.
I feel like totally
I
correct.
feel like
we also have to mention,
all us white
in
people
time of
everywhere.
COVID, how to take care of yourself in other ways, like taking vitamins and having enough exercise. Like
Vitamins.
that needs to be spoken
Vitamins.
about way
What are
more,
those?
I believe.
I'm gonna mispronounce it and pretend I don't know what it is.
Yes, collateral damage. In other words, lives, health, mental health
Lives.
issues, things like that.
100%.
Lives.
Addictions and all those things, suicides, depression.
Oh, no,
all
no,
those
no.
things.
Your station has a
Yeah,
rule
they
about
talk
never
about it
discussing
enough.
suicide.
So
You're not allowed to mention
explain how they're okay.
that for every homicide in Canada, there are 8 suicides every
This
year.
country makes are taken care of. So that is a good thing. That is a good one.
Homicide,
We have
500.
grievances coming up
Suicide,
on the other side of this
4,000.
break. We are going to actually talk about the leadership.
We're going
Because
to
there are
actually talk.
people right now. One is the Prime Minister, the other is Aaron O'Toole, and both have huge leadership challenges in front of them. One faces a test of his own leadership on whether or not he can stay in charge. But the Prime Minister's got a lot of big challenges coming up in the new year, including like, are we going to war with Russia? What's he going to do about China?
we
What's
going
he gonna
to
do
war?
with the economy, inflation, cost of living, all these things. They both face different leadership issues.
Not
Whether they
really.
survive.
These were Harper's issues 10 years ago.
We'll stick around. We will talk about
You
that.
wanted the Canada First Defense strategy to be wiped off the books, and it was. Going to war with Russia doesn't exist. It's not an option on the table.
It looks like we are trouble-free on the major highways. We had problems on the 401 westbound express.
When they asked you about what could possibly happen in the near future with current events, Canada declaring war on Russia wasn't one of the options, you fucking retard. Look up the Canada First Defense strategy. Know that it got erased. It's not even on the internet now. You cannot find it. And it's because of the way these people wanted things to run. We're going to give money to the Japanese and never go to war again and never talk about Indians because Indians aren't real. They stole the word from India because they're evil. You think I'm misquoting them?
You're more than your condition. Ask your doctor about Invocana.
Healthy Planet's Boxing Week sale is on now.
You're more than your condition.
Indulging a bit more during the holidays.
Because they can only advertise either the drug or the disease, not both at the same time.
25% off Vega entire line and 30% off your Possible Foods entire line. Healthy Planet. Serving you safely in-store, curbside, and online at healthyplanetcanada.com. Live life healthy.
Oh, fuck, I wanted to talk to them about something at the church. I think we can do a milk bottle drive.
PC MasterCard. Apply by December 31st to get a 100,000 PC Optimum Points offer. Conditions apply. Visit P.
So, yeah, I was pointing at the clock before because the sun set about a minute ago, or about right now, 21:45 hours Universal Local Time, Eastern Daylight Time, 4:45 p.m., 4:44, 4:45. Yeah, because the shortest day of the year was, so this is the 24th, so 3 days ago. I am, no, I'm walking a fine line. I know people like reaction videos. Hey, watch this, watch this. What? Oh, this guy's listening to the thing about Omicron. Yeah, so, no, but watch him flip out because it's funny. I'm walking a fine line because if I flip out too much and make too much fun, they're just going to delete this video after, right? See all the seeds? No, you don't. There's a whole bunch of blue shit here. All right, do I roll a little joint and save this little piece, or do I, well, I can make a big joint out of that later. I don't know what this shit is here. Anything with a period and some words, letters after, I'm convinced is a URL to set to hell. Don't click on it. I don't know how we got 30 different people leaving the same weird chat message. See here. We gonna do the top of the hour again? What do you guys think? Probably, eh? Let's press play, see what happens. What's happening there? So I love these because where the blue writing is, if it's red, it's milk chocolate. Where it's blue, it says dark chocolate. Gourmet dark chocolate. But why do I love these? Let's see here. Product of Turkey. Oh, that's beautiful. Distributed by Original Gourmet Food Company, Salem, New Hampshire. It's New Hampshire, right? NH. 03079 USA, blah, 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 blah. www.ogfc.net. Oh, you got a 1-800 number. 1-888-761-8399. No, I love this because product of Turkey, okay, the plastic stuff they use tends to be polypropylene or something, polyethylene, you know, normal food grade. Yeah, it's got the food grade symbol on it. All that nice, good shit there. The fork and wine glass, apparently. It's a shovel and a rake. Because I firmly believe if people are working in factories making food, and I love dark chocolate. This is $1.25. It used to be $1 for 102 grams, but I think it was 100 grams even before. It was $1 for 100 grams. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, but maybe I'm wrong. $1.25, no tax. If these people in Turkey are working in a factory making chocolates, then they are not making bombs. If they're making some sort of income from doing this, then they don't have to go to war, perhaps. You know, it's kind of what I'm thinking. Even if they get paid with food. Think about that. Even if they work in a food factory and get paid with food, this provides an income. And these dishes here are from the hummus, which is also from Turkey. And Bulgaria sells tinned roasted onions. Delicious. I'm going to keep pressing play till something happens here. Yeah, every time I look at the screen, it freezes. This is convenient. This is so hilarious. You heard me press that button again, eh?
Thinking, was really real now. Having visions of other niggas taking pills now. Open the stop for the niggas get they sleeves now. Ain't no time to wheel out, just pop up and peel out. Perks, these the perks. Hard white soft lives, who gon' slip it first? I got the pump, got the bombs, the purpose of gravity. One shot of fly, you kick you back to reality. But wait, let me snap back to reality. Had to make 9 out of 5, no celery. Been in some shootouts, next side.
I can choose my own celery.
Stop beef until I turn that to mincemeat. Niggas think they gotta cut that place that they lived in. You never put a penny in that pot that you dipped in. How you say you eat with your niggas and break bread. Break what? Put your face to the curb and I break necks. Only sell bling, one twin will break heads. And one white shell for the pump will break legs. 1 9 copper top bullet will take life. And 3 pulls off my PK will take flights. Yup, but nothing like Air Canada. Remember when my mama caught me in my room bagging up, and I knew that selling drugs was nothing I should brag about. But you should know that when I touch the road, I bring my magnum out. 5 shots for these 5 haters. By hater, you could hide now, but you gon' die later. You skip the snub, fine player. It's real hot, and they don't show no love for that non-take shit. Floating on the clouds, something like I'm on Olympus. You with this, my niggas move balls, no timidity. I'm still here on my 7-5 rich shit. 6 over 5 in my semi-auto 5th clip. Yes. After around, I get pissed quick. See the right flash, then my whole damn wrist flicks. Big bitch, tell me if you really with this. Oh, you a snitch, so I think you the witness. GZ dumb been on this gun shit. Might not have been a handheld, but I know that the pump kicks. Cold hearted niggas took the life of a young kid. When I was young, I used to roll with niggas that pump bricks. FDS, we flee the scene quick when we dunk this. We show no love, but live life like we love this. Never say shit like I'm always with dumb kids. I'm still break bread with my niggas I run with. No Indians, but we fucking with them brown boys. Baby, non-small, but I still make a loud noise. Still make a loud noise. Thinking, was really real now, having vision.
So I suppose I should hook up some wires to these antenna terminals in my wall and see what I could pick up. I haven't done that yet.
That's why he's the devil. The mullahs say music will stupefy you, make you right for the devil. They've got a point. Music will stupefy you, stupefy you. Music will stupefy you, stupefy you. Music will stupefy you.
Southside, nigga. What the fuck it is, nigga. Strapped cause I have to run with a back, get left with a scar on your skin like a tattoo. Call my nigga Chin and tell him bring the strap to show. Doing it, ski mask and a black tube, hoodie on long jumps and some running shoes, nigga. With no fear, like we don't care who we running. Who are you? Be strapped, I'm strapped. What you gonna do? Hype till I ride on a bike and shoot a few. My niggas driving and I'm in the passenger. When we riding, I'm whining to shoot the caliber. Run your block like a motherfucking savage. We getting mad, what? That's the reason why they mad at I you now be this spot searching like a scavenger. And we ain't leaving till we get the job done. Shots stink up your body, leave it stink like a sound. Rock your head and roll, I ain't talking about pump. Now the run then come, I only think once. Only back in the days, these youths got crunch. Now like they're brave, they wanna.
That I only think once means he don't second guess himself. That's what it means. It doesn't mean he's impulsive necessarily. It's sort of that, but it means he doesn't second guess himself.
Here we go, yeah. Pistol, fuck when I come. I'm just a sickle with
made in China.
Big money when I come. P5 come full, knock round, jump. I never ate lunch, but I still slap it up like
On a court, nigga. Over limb.
The only PC we deal with, except for our computer to rip.
Shout out my music niggas. Earth City niggas. Yo. I'm on your block, shooting the first true face. My young niggas pump weight just to shoot straight. You say you eating good, my goons will make you lose weight. Yo, me and my niggas, we had enough. So I'm hitting these licks, it got my stack adding up. Fuck reading up. I'm robbing the connect for drugs, arrested. You little niggas asking to catch a slug. Act up, enough shots for your friends and them. And we can't get locked, we never leave evidence. Now, yo, black gloves for my fingerprints. I leave parts of him all over his residence. Veterans taught, so the crime shit easy. Believe me, he in the cut, I'ma leave him open. If I ain't selling work, these fiends rather stop smoking. But no joking, niggas rat, so they getting no. I supply it though, let it clap for the right amount. These white G's play a role when they riding out. I be sitting sideways, inside's falling out. You don't want a problem, if so, then just follow. Back to the hood, catch some flat hits and hollow. Let's move like worms. When my shooters get the dim, try your stunt, make it so, go and meet the devil them. I can double them, no skill, I can eye it out. Run up in his nest, pick the birds and I fly it out. Yeah, and that's for trying to take me, bitch. When I hit the lift, back to the block, smoke a flip. Free coach and J-Fab, they ain't trying to let you live. Told me you soon touch, free my neck, fuck the piss. If you wanna dip, come and see how we fucking live. I better start the top with the fifth in between your lips. I'm a court nigga.
After the
Shares
retailer announced it would buy the footwear label for $2.5 billion in a cash and stock deal. The deal is expected to close early 2022. Andrew Reese says the acquisition could lead to robust sales growth, especially in the U.S. The company is also hoping to expand its holdings beyond the rubber clogs it's best known for. Now, the Italian company Hey Dude does more
They're
than
not
40%
clogs
of
and they're
its
not
business
rubber.
online.
They're plastic
And
they're weird fucking
$500
sandals.
million in revenue this year.
You know
Even
what?
with the drop yesterday, shares in Crocs are still higher by 97% this year. Boxing
What
Day
clogs
might be taking
are?
a beating from
They're
its
wooden
younger
toed
rival.
boots.
While Black
Before
Friday
steel
had
toe,
already
there was
overtaken
wooden toe.
December
That's what they
26th
are.
as the go-to shopping day of the season, pandemic restrictions and concerns over surging COVID-19 cases may deepen the sales disparity, with more consumers staying home for the holidays. The Retail Council of Canada, whose annual holiday survey in August found that November 26th could be the biggest shopping event of the year, and now says it will further overshadow Boxing Day after fears of the new variant spiked early this month. The council says capacity restrictions in at least 6 provinces, including Ontario and Quebec, should have minimal impact on outlets that are accustomed to adapting to the measures. It's important to
See the
note
spiral
that
drawn on the center of the engine there?
Black Friday. Markets on Bay Street are now closed, operating at a half session today. Markets will reopen on Wednesday. The TSX closed higher for the 4th day, up 10 points to 21,229. The Canadian dollar is
Yeah, but
down
they would have been closed then.
600
It's
to
5 o'clock.
78.04 cents US.
So they close at
Across the border
4:30,
on
reopen
Wall
at
Street,
5
markets
till
were
6
closed
or
for
something
the
like
day,
that.
and the S&P will start the week on Monday at an all-time high, closing at a record high yesterday at 47.25. And at the City News Business Center, I'm Cherise Smealy.
Oh, gee, is there enough time to get into the next song? Damn it.
Yeah, let's be fatal, baby. I'm back with this motherfucking track, y'all. Money is gas, making it dash. Feel like a blast with that on my cash. Taking it slow, I'm taking it fast. Face on the dash, ripping that ass. Fuck with the cats, I don't fuck with them rats. Throwing it back while she busting it back. Talking that shit, better watch how you act. Doing the game and the place in the set. I know I'm real bit like the missing link. All my bitches small with a lot of ink. All I really know is I want more bling. Money calling me, I keep on chasing. You see me on stage and I'm glowing. You not believe where I'm going. I'm fucking with the speed I'm stroking. Southern rappers coaching. Don't fuck with my vibe when I'm smoking. Judging all these rappers by the clothing. Need a role model and a Trojan. Provoking while I'm promoting. Emotion, demons in my head.
0 and partly cloudy in Orangeville, the same in Erin, 1 in Kitchener, Cambridge, and downtown at 3 degrees and partly cloudy. You're with City News 680 at 5 o'clock.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is City News 680, everywhere.
It's Friday, December the 24th. I'm Zach Odenstein. Here's what's making news right now. Breaking news from Mississauga. Mayor Bonnie Crombie is tested positive for COVID-19. She's self-isolating at home.
We don't have the lockdown restrictions we had at this time last year. Mayor Tory is urging you to socialize responsibly over Christmas weekend, saying he has scaled down plans.
Ontario is set to report nearly 10,000 new cases of COVID-19. ICU admissions remain stable, and tens of thousands of more tests remain backlogged.
The U.S. government will lift its ban on 8 South African
Niagara
countries.
ice wine. Those are grapes in case you can't see them.
WHO has called ineffective.
The International Hockey Federation facing intense backlash today. More in sports at 15.
Meta and Google are facing major fines, and 2 more companies have backed out of the Consumer Electronics Show. Business at 26.
City News Time 5:01. Now traffic and weather together with Carrie Grunskis.
This report is brought to you by Access Storage.
recreation areas.
Northbound on the 410 at Queen. The right lane is closed because of a collision. Traffic is jammed on the northbound 410 from Steeles right through to Queen. Now, this problem hasn't been here for that long, so the alternate routes are still doing okay. To the east of the 410, 410 Dixie or West Drive, they're wide open. And then west of the 410, try Kennedy or Main Street, they're both in great shape. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, no problems, just volume delays as you approach Don Mills up to York Mills. It's still a slow go westbound 401 from the 412 to approaching Salem. But across the road, looks like delays have pretty well eased. Now west of the city, it's jammed up from west of here, Ontario, in the Express to approaching Mississauga Road. And the eastbound 401 gets backed up from the Allen in the Express and from Yonge and the Collectors to Leslie. Another drag from Warden to Kennedy and the Collectors, and then busy on the ramp to Markham Road, but delays have now cleared through the Durham region on the eastbound 401. Eastbound on the QEW, just a minor delay, Cawthron to Dixie. The eastbound Gardner is smooth sailing heading into downtown. Westbound Gardner QEW combination, still with delays from York to west of Strawn, from approaching Parklawn to Islington, and from the 427 to west of Cawthron. Off the highways, there's a crash reported northbound on Browns Line, approaching Evans Avenue, blocking the right lane. And then we have a full closure of Shepherd in both directions, west of McCowan, and that's due to downed wires. Need extra space? Find affordable and flexible storage solutions with access storage near you.
TPs or campgrounds. There's campgrounds in Toronto.
4 weeks free. Visit accessstorage.ca for details. And now with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahide.
All right, Carrie, it's mild tonight. So we're at 2 degrees now, and we're not dropping any colder. In fact, we may even rise a degree to 3 degrees by morning and up to 7 in the afternoon. It's a wet start to Christmas Day. Lots of puddles and ponding and pooling with about 3 to 8 millimeters of rain. Mostly falling through the early morning. We'll taper it to drizzle near lunch and then dry out.
Have any Alaska ice melting?
Overnight tonight, temps steady near 3 degrees. It's currently 2 degrees at Pearson.
City News Time, 5:03. And we begin with breaking news from Mississauga. Mayor Bonnie Crombie's tested positive for COVID-19. In a tweet, she says her symptoms are mild. She's self-isolating at home. Now, this comes with Ontario reporting its highest single-day COVID case count ever. Mitch Burke has the daily data.
Last Friday, the numbers were in the 3,000s. Today, it's 9,571 with over 72,000 tests completed. But the real number is all but certain to be higher, with tens of thousands of more tests backlogged. The positivity rate is 18.7%. Health Minister Christine Elliott says 508 people are hospitalized with the virus and 164 in the ICU. That continues to hold steady. And with this staggering Omicron surge pushing testing centers to the limit, the University Health Network is reminding people to stay away from hospital if what they want is a test. The UHN says their emergency departments are not testing centers, and that they can't afford to lose more frontline workers to self-isolation. Mitch Burke, City News.
And even with cases rising, the province says that the hospital system is holding up. A spokeswoman for the health minister says that the effectiveness of vaccines has meant that despite the rapid increase in cases, there hasn't been a corresponding increase in hospitalizations and ICU admissions. Now, Premier Doug Ford toured the new mass vaccination clinic at the International Center in Mississauga this morning, and he thanked those workers working to get shots into arms.
Because of these great frontline healthcare workers, we're able to ramp up.
I'm having a hard time breathing there, bro.
Doses a day, vaccinations a day, and please sign up on the Ontario portal.
Provincial data shows 87% of Ontarians 5 and up has to have at least one dose of a COVID vaccine. 81% are double dosed. The Durham Region Health
But that doesn't count as fully vaccinated.
COVID vaccine for first, second, and
so you get marked with unvaccinated. 81% of people will be marked off on your file as unvaccinated. You can't force them to check your QR code. You can't make them do anything. They're allowed to do whatever they want because you are consenting to that when you ask them for health care.
The new policy begins December the 29th. It'll last until more supply of the Pfizer shots secured. The department says there continues to be enough supply of the pediatric Pfizer vaccine for kids 5 to 11. In BC, the provincial health officer says that the province has hit its COVID testing capacity. Dr. Bonnie Henry says that the province is in a different pandemic, and as a result of the Omicron variant, it's urging anyone who's developed symptoms to adjust holiday plans and isolate.
What we are seeing is that Omicron is more likely to attach to the upper airways, to those ACE2 receptors in our upper airways, which means it can spread with very small amounts of the virus. It replicates quickly. The incubation period, or the time between exposure and getting sick yourself and being able to pass it on to someone else is very small.
She says residents should not be getting tested unless they have symptoms. City News Time 5:06. This Christmas weekend, Mayor Tory says he's practicing
2.5 million people, 172 meters / 566 feet.
Christmas, but things are different than they were last year. Mayor Tory says 12 months ago, he was celebrating alone with his wife away from his family like so many of us had to because of public health restrictions. He says this time around, you don't have to eat your turkey in isolation.
And
But he says it's important to stick with the public health advice to have a somewhat scaled down celebration.
I believe people, notwithstanding their fatigue with all of this, will understand that if we want to protect the progress and if we want to emerge out of this sooner than years from now, they will follow that advice that says socialize.
Because some of his children have other commitments, Tory says his plans were
The internet does go out, the power does go out. At least every day I'll be reading by the window, I guess.
Have been that 2 of our children would be with us this Christmas and their significant others. So I think that if the idea is to keep the numbers reasonable and we can do that and the whole family wouldn't be all together.
Right now, public health rules allow for gatherings of 10 people indoors. Moment Qureshi, City News.
People think that, oh, I'll go to this guy's place, and then I'll go to those people's place, and then I'll go to those people's place, and as long as we are all in the same place at the same time, it magically cannot spread. That's not how it works.
Health Canada's survey of more than 10,000 cannabis users, 53% of respondents over the age of 16 purchase cannabis regularly from a legal storefront, up from 41% last year. Now, illegal storefronts, illicit online shops, and dealers were each the main source for just 2% of respondents, and about 25% of those 25 and older say they've been using cannabis more during the pandemic. Now, Health Canada warns these results may be impacted by participation bias because respondents were informed the survey was about cannabis, making those who consume the substance more likely to offer data. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Here with City News 680 at 5:08. The United States is following in the footsteps of Canada and the UK in lifting its travel ban on 8 countries in southern Africa. Here's Asher Roth.
The travel ban was introduced in late November as an ill-fated attempt to stop Omicron from crossing global borders shortly after it was discovered
because you canceled it. It's ill-fated. How much bad stuff happened because of it?
Namibia, Malawi, and Zimbabwe. But it was quickly
Don't you always eventually find out what the survey is about? Hey, I want to ask you a question, but I don't want to tell you what the question's about.
In defending the move,
are you high? That was my next question, actually.
Omicron had determined vaccine efficacy against it, but it did little to slow the impact of
I know,
the
it's all
variant, which
colors.
now represents
Look, I got a traffic right here.
of all U.S. infections. The ban is scheduled to be lifted on New Year's Eve. Asher Roth, City News.
Have we learned anything?
509.
Santa knows who has the best traffic and weather.
Do you?
Traffic and weather.
The best traffic and weather? It ain't Toronto.
Right, Santa.
Okay, I am not tuning into. Okay, wait, is it 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock? Oops.
Thursday, they somehow went in and they tranquilized her. They got her all comfortable in this pen, and she's got oxygen, and there she was taken out because she had been surviving by your place in some straw or kind of nestling up under some brush in the woods.
Get this woman up, fucking hospital bed. What's wrong with you?
And I was there for the whole process. It was very remarkable, great teamwork. And they darted her and got her down to the vet clinic. I don't think she was in there.
Can you do that for my? Never mind.
Maybe 20 minutes, and John Marshall again called me to let me know that everything looked good under X-rays, and that an orthopedic surgeon was coming in next week to try and.
Okay, we got a plan here. We're gonna hear the same goddamn news over and over. I think we got it all this time. Oh, fucking gas price, gas price, gas price.
Even tennis. Wherever you are, whatever your sport, find your best.
It's like $1.38 or some shit. If you can find a station open.
Missed out on Black Friday bargains? Don't worry. Hi, I'm Sean.
I don't have money, so I saved 1,000,000% because I spent nothing.
December 26th, for one day only, we're giving you the best prices of the year.
That's not true. I went to the dollar store on Friday. Was that Black Friday?
With deals like these, it's the perfect time.
Isn't this the Friday before Boxing Day? Like, I don't understand. It's Christmas Eve day.
Your fit specialist
Not Christmas Day.
Some exclusions apply. See in store for details.
We are so far past the hour.
Traffic and weather together on the one. Here's Gary Brunskis.
This report is brought to you by TMS Clinics of Canada. Well, with each report for the last half hour, things have been getting lighter and lighter on the major routes, save for the northbound 410, because we do have a problem northbound 410 at Queen, the right lane blocked because of a collision. So it's still jammed on the northbound 410 from Steeles to Queen, but the alternate routes in the area are wide open. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, that's backed up from Don Mills to York Mills. Westbound 401, just a minor delay as you head past the 412, but a smooth drive across the city. And then it's a slow go west of here, Ontario and the Express to approaching Mississauga Road. Still with some delays on the eastbound 401 from Avenue and the Express, and from east of Yonge and the Collectors to Leslie, but looks good beyond that point. Southbound on the 404 Don Valley Parkway, just a slight slowdown from the 401 to York Mills.
Yeah, for 10 minutes I've been meaning to roll a joint. Just didn't do it.
From Rogers Centre to west of Strawn, and from the Humber Bridge to Royal York. Westbound QEW, busy in Mississauga from the 427 to west of Cawthra. But after that, it's wide open through Oakville and Burlington.
If I didn't do a video, somebody would have said, hey, how come you weren't online on Christmas? I was born and you weren't there. You always doing some crazy shit on the holidays. Why wouldn't you do some crazy shit these holidays? It's not a holiday yet till Monday, Tuesday. 4-day fucking weekend.
But just keep in mind a full closure of Shepherd in Scarborough. It's shut down in both directions west of McCowan, and that is due to downed wires at the intersection. 1 in 5 Canadians struggle with their mental health. TMS stimulates the brain to help lift that heavy cloud of sadness without medication. To find out if it's right for you, visit tmsofcanada.com. Now with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahar.
The crazy thing with downed wires and shit, electricity could be coming from your house and going back up the line if you don't have the interconnect properly installed. So if you do that shit yourself and you didn't get it inspected, you could be killing people.
Rain will fall. We'll
thinking you're a good person.
Midday, and then finally dry out through the afternoon. No sun tomorrow, and it's going to be a mild
Just
Christmas
not.
day at 6 degrees. Sunday, mainly cloudy skies. It should
The
stay
sun
dry
will be
here in the city
off
with some sunny breaks and a
until
high
further
of 4.
notice.
To the north, we'll get into a few isolated rain, snow showers. Tonight, temperatures
Was there not a press release from some government agency today, like a proper one?
-2 in downtown Toronto. City News Time 5:14. One small town along the Texas-Mexico border is attempting an image makeover.
It's a sight that every driver dreads. Blue and red lights in the rearview mirror. But on this day in Alton, Texas,
We were giving out $5 gift cards.
75 gift cards were donated by local businesses in the town of 19,000, says Police Chief Jonathan Flores.
These programs go a long way in helping bridge the gap between the community and the police department.
Officer Eric Flores.
This is made of paper. No wonder it's all bent. It's paper. I thought this was plastic. What the fuck? This is fucking useless to me. This is fucking useless to me. Like I should burn
Welcome
it.
to the Yoga Mat, please. I'm Max, professional dream coach. Let's start with dream
I
pose.
don't know it's paper. I want to put it up here.
Deep breath. Visualize winning Friday's Lotomax jackpot of an estimated $23
You have money to spend on this advertising.
Car pose. You're stuck to
You can't.
Private spa pose.
Isn't this a yoga class?
Oh, this is dream training. Friday's Lotomax jackpot is an estimated $23 million. Why dream to the min when you can dream to the max?
A new fast-spreading variant is now in Ontario, and it threatens the progress we've made in the fight against COVID-19. Get vaccinated and book your booster today. And keep doing what we already know keeps us safe. Protect yourself against COVID-19. It's up to all of us. Learn more at ontario.ca/COVID-19. Paid for by the government.
It's 1-900 COVID-19. 1-900 COVID-19.
City News 680. Everywhere.
Overcast in downtown Toronto, 3 degrees, feels like -2. I'm Zach Bodenstein. Here's what's making news right now. We're following breaking news from Mississauga. Mayor Bonnie Crombie has tested positive for COVID-19. She tweets, though, that her symptoms are mild and she's isolating at home. Ontario, meantime, reporting 9,571 cases of COVID-19 today. That's a single-day record and a jump of nearly 4,000 from yesterday.
I guarantee they're going to say, use your full headlighting system if you hit a snow squall.
After Canada and the UK did
But they won't say you should self-isolate just like the mayor did. They won't say that.
They take effect in the new year. For these stories and more, head to citynews.ca. And now time for sports with Caroline Frolick.
rendez-vous, justement, on peut imaginer. Et selon Shanta Sanderson, la fondatrice de l'organisme Pink Cars, plusieurs personnes âgées, surtout qui ont plus de 70 ans,
okay, I love cars and I love pink. What are you talking about?
Parce que, justement, il n'y a pas assez de rendez-vous. Selon elle, je vous rappelle que Pink Cars, c'est un organisme bénévole qui aide les personnes âgées à prendre leur rendez-vous de vaccination et les conduit, justement, à leur rendez-vous par la suite. Ils ont commencé avec la première dose de vaccination, encore étaient là pour la deuxième et maintenant sont là pour la troisième dose. Je vous invite à écouter Shanta Sanderson, la fondatrice de Pink Cars.
There are no vaccines to be had for them anywhere. When you go online, all the dates are fully booked. I've been going from pharmacy to pharmacy, and now we're competing with everybody 18 years and above for all those vaccination slots.
I thought you wanted them to have the vaccine so they stop spreading the disease. Make up your mind.
Rendez-vous en ligne ni dans les pharmacies. Elle ajoute que ces personnes sont maintenant en compétition justement pour des vaccins avec tous les Ontariens de plus de 18 ans. Et finalement, la fondatrice ajoute en fait que les personnes les plus vulnérables, comme justement les personnes âgées, devraient être prioritaires pour la troisième dose du vaccin.
Bon, alors ce sera définitivement à regarder tout ça avec Omicron qui, encore une fois, là, continue de se propager là, rapidement ici en Ontario. Anne-Marie Tricky, merci d'avoir fait le point sur la situation là aujourd'hui avec nous.
Merci et joyeuses fêtes!
Et parmi les choses qu'on se souhaite durant les fêtes, c'est la santé, entre autres. Une fois qu'on s'est souhaité la santé, les vœux de bonne année, aussi on peut y aller avec d'autres vœux, mais il y en a certains qui seront sentis plus que d'autres. La santé, oui. Encore une fois, on le voit avec ce qui se passe là en Ontario. Et ceux qui nous la souhaitent, la santé, en tout cas en ce moment, c'est Villeray, joyeux Noël et bonne année.
In the right lane. In-town problems on Eglinton at Leslie, and Shepherd is blocked both ways in town because of down hydro wires. Get 20 times the points this Sunday to Monday at Shoppers Drug Mart when you load your offers with the PC off Boomer app. Restrictions apply. See digital coupon for details.
We don't say at, we say bye. Eglinton, by Leslie.
Toronto, Chopper Traffic.
Want the hottest box week deals? Switch to Freedom Mobile and get big gig unlimited data plans starting at just $50 a month. Conditions apply. Details at freedommobile.ca.
Were you laid off with 2 weeks' pay? You need employmentlawyer.ca. Most people are owed much more than 2 weeks per year. Make sure you get the severance pay you deserve.
You can or can't go this weekend, or James Mackin's breaking down what's open and closed.
Go anyway, you just might not get in.
Every major attraction in the city will be closed on Christmas Day, except for two big ones. Ripley's Aquarium is open from 10 till 8, and the zoo is open from 10
isolating and everybody's going to come visit instead of me going to visit people, because that way it doesn't spread magically.
And Holiday Light Tour, both of those are open throughout the weekend. You can buy tickets online. Now, Canada
I've already been exposed, so I'm not worried about it. Oh, you're about to kill the audio. Do it. Ping the fucking router as many times as you can to prove you exist, bro.
Pacific Mall, every mall in the city will be closed on Christmas Day. LCBO and the beer store also closed on Christmas Day, but some locations
the app you're
will
using, you
on
must have got off some kiddie
and
porn site or some
every skating
shit.
rink in the city will be open throughout the weekend.
I can't see
Just
why you
remember to
bothering
wear
us
your mask
otherwise.
and stay socially distanced. Happy holidays. James Mackin, City News.
In 60 seconds, we'll check traffic and weather together. City News time 5:20.
Oh, marvelously.
Really?
Marvelously.
I guess it's 4:20 in Saskatchewan, right? Oh, Jesus Christ.
With Sleep Country's unbeatable price guarantee, if you find the lower
Look,
price
even
on a
this shit's
similar mattress
modular.
anywhere
Look at it,
else,
stacking.
we'll beat it. See in-store for details.
It's just popping up every hour when I roll a joint, eh?
Get hooked on Bolt Plus.
I did not
Bolt
hear-
Plus is your fastener specialist, plus so much more. Check out their massive showroom filled with an extensive inventory of industrial and safety supplies, such as abrasives, adhesives, and lubricants, anchors, storage bins.
Can you imagine if you need an abrasive, an adhesive, and a lubricant?
A huge stock of DeWalt, Bosch, and Milwaukee power tools. Let their knowledgeable staff source your hard-to-find items. Bolt Plus, proudly Canadian-owned and operated, many locations to serve you. Shop online, boltplus.ca.
City News time 5:21 with a look at your drive. Here's Carrie Brunskis.
This report is brought to you by Journey into Enchantment. North
topics worthy of discussion.
Oh, this might suck. This might suck.
5:21 on Christmas Eve, and there are topics worthy of discussion. Brought to you, of course, by our good friends over at Pizzaville Pound 3636. They will, of course, take care of you on this holiday weekend. In the house tonight, or in their house tonight, would be Michael Toe, columnist for Troy Media, Looney Politics, contributor to the National Post, Washington Times, and a speechwriter for Mr. Former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. And Sam Goldstein is with us here tonight. He is a criminal defense lawyer.
Did I not mention?
Good to have you.
Did I not mention?
Good evening. Good evening. Merry Christmas.
And a Merry Christmas.
So, when Jane Krebo got shot, it was because she ran through 4 lanes of traffic and a red light towards 2 groups of people shooting at each other. That's why they never released the footage. Yeah. Within minutes, the police had over 250,000 text messages, which were collected, as he described, by drawing an electronic box around an area and collecting all the text messages from that area. No wiretap authority, which is what the term is. He keeps calling it a warrant. It's not a warrant. It's a wiretap authority, which it's been since 2008. It's been a wiretap authority that's required for your text messages. Now, if your phone has a PIN code on it, then the police need a warrant to open your phone, your handset. If it does not have a code to lock it somehow, some sort of lock screen, they're allowed to go through it. This is what the case law says. Before 2008, they needed a warrant for your text messages. That's everything. And they didn't get one for the Jane Krebo thing. They just went through the messages. Oh, and Eric Boateng. Eric Boateng, Boateng, who, by whatever we can determine, was not cooperating specifically with the police. You know how it goes. Once the cops are involved, they're asking you shitloads of questions. I was at the coffee shop. I bought a coffee. I was walking home. I don't know. It doesn't matter. They're going to tell the people, the public, oh, he's cooperating and he's giving us information. The man says, I ain't giving no information. I don't fucking nothing about this shooting thing. I don't know nothing. Okay, he gets called out, which means called down to the jail to visit somebody. Why are you visiting people in jail? Anyway, and he gets shot in East Chinatown, across the street from the jail, unsolved homicide. A lot of murders happen up and down that strip. Out in 55 Division is a place lots of people die. But we used to that because we're from Parkdale. We're from the West End here, Pelham, Parkdale. 14 Division / 13 Division / 12 Division / 11 Division, because we don't know anymore either. We'll try the business report? No, because the business report's going to suck, and we already know it. Get to know the plan for snow. I just gotta. Where is it? Did you know Toronto is one of the world's biggest winter cities? I don't know what that means either. The budget to deliver its comprehensive winter services program in 2021, January to December, is about $90 million. You knew it was January to December because this is 2021. It doesn't say fiscal year 2021, does it? No. Toronto.ca/PLOWTO, PLOWTO, Toronto.ca/salt, Toronto.ca/snow. Yes, there's 3 different. What about the ice melter? How come you don't have an Alaskan ice melter distribution page or a beet juice page? Or get to know the plan for snow, Ontario. It's my kitty cat. Yeah. All right, I don't have much for you except to, I guess, just throw some more music. I mean, what can I tell you? I'm still cleaning storm drains. Yeah, guess what? I'm going to be doing that to fucking next year this time too, I guarantee. They said it would take 3 to 5 years. They said it would take a minimum of 3 years to clean up the virus, minimum of 5 years to fix the economy. The Chinese government said that. The Canadian federal government said that, and the world. I'm 99% certain it was the World Health Organization that said that. You can go back through these videos and find all that shit. If nothing else, I have logged as best as I can what's been happening. I gotta get these sized properly. I still didn't do it. I'm gonna pay the guy to do these ones, and after that, Unless I buy it off of him, I'm going to figure out, I'm going to get the tool and do it myself. Because it's a chain breaking tool, the same as a bicycle chain. My eyes are itchy for some damn reason. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I've been exposed to Bravo, Delta, Charlie, whatever. And yeah, there's white stuff coming out my eyes. So we have 2 elevators today instead of 1. I'm going to tell you, these buildings require a minimum of 2 elevators, not a minimum of 1. Well, one's going up, one should be going down. And that only works if you have up and down call buttons on each floor, which we don't have. And these idiots that have lived here for 20 years don't seem to figure it out yet. The reason the elevators go, is it going up or down? Is it going up or down? Has it ever been going up in all the years you've lived here? No. It may have been stopping where you were, but it wasn't going up or down. It was going to the next call with no buttons pressed on the inside of the car, right? The cab. I need to do something here. I got a little joint. I think my next project will be to so I got lots of these sections of wire. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do. I do have some electrical problems with some of my stuff. I gotta get some I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put things so that I have power for them, motherfucker. And I'm gonna see if I can hook up these antenna tap that's on the wall here, because even if it's not hooked to an antenna on the roof, it still runs wires up and down through the building. It might be coax, but I think it's just a pair of wires because it's got the screw terminals, much as the oh dear, do I have it here? I know I have one of these here. I've shown it to you before. The adapter piece for the back of a television set. Right. Nothing but bullshit. Should we listen for the half hour? Okay, I'm gonna have to do that multiple pressing thing again. Press. Play, pause. There it goes. I've been out of medication for 2 years, eh? While years stay alive, all things will change around.
Watch me back in that cell. Grab a hold of that wheel. Out the lottie, I peel. Pop shit burning, eat still. Chop it, moving that way. Gas and smells of propane. Supposed to run to his face. Plastic like been raised. Fuck up in as you late. Hey. Just push it in, listen up, spin, rapping bitches, doesn't push it to my limits, fucking checks, I'm a hitless while I ain't on my business, I'ma get it in a minute, can you feel how it kills shit, you fucking back shit up, can you see my stress, know that life's goal is just a fucking test, only strong survive, gotta be the best, cause I'm complex, none like the rest, not blessed by a curse, so I cool with a smirk, early morning ride burst, hype up like a perk, hope you get it how it works, but I'll tap, then a verse, got spilled, paint your shirt like a knife, then we lurk, my songs, what a murk, out of control, go berserk, lunge hard where it hurts, so I hit him with my worst, trying to steal, reimburse like song. It disperse and reverse with these words in the universe. Music popping addiction, I can't begin the fiction. I saw you bitch superstitious. I fucking warn your prediction, and all you said is just fiction. My fire burning with friction, your phone shatter reflection. Fucking riding admission, there ain't no lack of restriction. They got me praying religion. I couldn't count on my digits to face your picture description. Honey boss ammunition, the top of you with submission. A flexion to a tradition, I turn it fire ignition. I be popping no pill. Watch me back in that cell. Grab a hold of that wheel. Out the lottie, I peel. Pop shit burning, eat still. Chop it, moving that way. Gas and smells of propane. Supposed to run to his face. Plastic blast of been raised. Fuck up in as you late. Hey, music going in eternity. So I got a burn a seed. Murder keys to degrees. Dropping like you got disease. I be on you choke a freeze. Mass by my expertise. Face drop you look displeased. I got cheese. Fucking cut of money breeze. On your knees and take a squeeze. Helping weeds. Push it, gotta pay the fees. Turning up with Tennessee. Burn a ball with the knees. Say fucking enemy. Trying to find a better beat. Popping only cream of trees. Go. I be baking the cake and the rest of you is mistaken. My fire got your face and you got your feelings. You're shaking the tide. Bring demonstration. Blow you up inspiration. Hunting down for patient. That's all I kept on waiting.
Okay, the photos. I don't.
Speeding and laning. A bit of beat. Complaining. I take a rage in the cages. Stop walking to crazy.
People on a scooter.
Damn, I feel like you breathe. It's well where to deceive. It's spending on retrieves to take it on a leaf. You gotta
one girl with an incredibly big afro.
To get the house of the acres. I think about the neighbors. I bet it sooner or later. I get your
breakers and traders, cause I'm the master creator. They hit the taste of my flavor, to my natural nature. Because it's
Old
just gonna hate
person
you.
gardening, and they don't look like they really want to be gardening.
Turning with all lyrical learning, my body constantly concerning, cause I've been constantly conserving, shake it down, reoccurring. I fucking work from my burnings, how my hits you deserve it. Cook a whipping and stirring, I fucking hate you right vermin, cause I was not in a burden. This model once the observing, we can't you see we alerting. True static affirming and fucking white on the urban, right in this game of swerving, cause out the gate I'm returning. I be popping no pills, watch me back in that seal. Grab a hold of that wheel, El Salati, I peel. Pop shit burning, eat still, chop it, moving that weight. Dancing smells of propane, supposed to want to his fate. Plastic glass to fin race, fuck up in it's too late. Hey, I be popping no pills, watch me back in that seal. Grab a hold of that wheel, El Salati, I peel. Pop shit burning, eat still, chop it, moving that weight. Dancing smells of propane, supposed to run to his fate. Plastic glass to fin race, fuck
I
up in
feel
it's
like
too
as soon
late.
as I stop this video, something interesting gonna happen.
Complexity.
Oh, and it wasn't wet. It's dry because I'm sick.
Just do what you do and you love in life. It's all that matters. Fuck this.
You could do what you hate and still fail. You could do, yeah, every time I open my mouth, ping the router, bro. It's 4 sets in a row, you done it. You could do what you hate and still fail, so you should do what you love. You may as well. I'm getting tired of this real fast. I'm trying. When I say fuck, you say pass.
You know why we here. You know what we came to do. When I go fuck, you better fuck back. Fuck. See what you really think, what's up? Niggas say fuck that. When I go fuck, you better.
What's this one? You get a bunch of these. I'm gonna skip it. The SoundCloud links down there will take you to those.
Got something new for y'all. By the way, gotta bring back old
type shit. Ain't nobody trapping nothing no more. It's like deadness out there.
I've been trapping all day, trying to find a way to get up out of this. I know that shit don't last long, either I'll be dead and gone or them cups are on my wrist. And I'm just here trying to leave, trying to get up off the streets, and they took my boy from me. I'm out here lonely on the block, cause my homies on lock.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy. Tell me why it's crazy.
Tell me why it's crazy.
Listen, so it's crazy. Life's so crazy. Deep up in the game, I'm praying someone comes and saves me. I'm in a different lane, these hating niggas never faze me. All I got is family, my girlfriend, her back on me. I even wrote a song for her. Flowers in a car for her. Showed her that I loved her, but it wasn't enough. I was sleeping in cold cells where niggas fight for their lunch. Now I'm back on the block where niggas shooting right for fun. Listen, it sounds depressing, but I ain't even stressing. I'm hard-headed, but finally learned my lesson. I consider it a blessing. My situation was physics. Nobody wrote me letters, nobody came through to visit. What happened to all my niggas? What happened to all my bitches? They disappeared, but I seen their face in my dreams. I got no team just to send me talk in my jeans. Gotta get it by any means. Rocking their children's face. Mama told me watch for them niggas, cause in the hood nothing sweet. Alright for them, but them niggas won't ride for me. Won't ride for me, but they wanna get high with me. My life is like something straight off the street. Niggas asking me how I do it. They thought I only make music. Everyone says they're real, but nobody can ever prove it. I choose to kill, better use your head or you'll lose it. I'm in the field, give me any which thing I'll move it. They told me get them, I got them, I'll hand them up once I spot them. Right up very often, friend niggas up, then I rob them. Some niggas say I'm fake and some niggas say I'm a problem. Keep the hold on one of them, I miss my bro in the coffin. Watching my niggas try me, try broke my heart into pieces. Mother, brother, nieces, they looked at me, I was speechless. I grew up in the east where there's homicides every weekend. I always keep my heat if you try to run up on a squeezing. They told me that money can't buy me happiness. I grind for mine, I was never the chase to ask for shit. Fucking 9 to 5, that won't change the life that I'm living. I remember everyone who said I'll be dead or in prison. Cause one day I'll be rich and those people will try to switch it up. Call me, I won't pick it up. Need my help, I don't give a fuck. Fuck the other side, now you ain't a boss, you ain't big enough. You had a little bus since you called it stuff, you ain't saying much. You ain't saying much. Saying? Southside, Toronto, you know what I'm saying?